Hey YouTube, Twig here, bringing you all my Impcantation Yugioh deck profile for March 2019. I've always been a fan of ritual summons in general in Yu-Gi-Oh! I think it's one of my main and favorite summoning plays that I can do in the game, with Gishkis being a big favorite of mine for sure, and Nekroz. Just always, enjoyed the different plays you can do with all the different ritual decks. And we got the Incantations and the fact that they received a ritual monster and a ritual spell that is very, very generic and works with a bunch of different ritual monsters, prompted me to try out a deck profile just with all the Incantations and some other generic ritual support. So let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So to start off, for the ritual monster, I run 3 Incantation Chalice Slime. With these, we're getting way more support in the next booster pack as well for the Incantations, so can't wait for the additional ritual monster and the field spell we'll be getting. But until then, 3 Chalice Slime. With this one, you can ritual summon this card with Incantation Inception, and you can reveal this card in your hand, discard 1 card. If you do, special summon 1 Incantation monster from your deck, and during the end phase, lose 200 life points if you did not special summon a ritual monster this turn after you reused this effect. And you can reveal 1 Incantation card from your hand or face up on the field, then target 1 monster your opponent controls to destroy it. You can only use 1 Incantation Chalice Slime effect per turn, and only once that turn. So it has destruction capabilities and overall the search and special summon power that all the other Incantation monsters have as well. So very, very powerful ritual as well, just being able to be searched with some of the other cards, since it also specifically lists the ritual spell in its card name, and also being a level 7 ritual, so being able to be searched with some of the other cards in the deck that we run, like Preparation of Rites. So 3 of this, since like I also said, it is the main focus, or at least one of them, for the deck. And when I was deciding what other generic rituals to run in the deck, I decided to go with Saphira, Queen of Dragons, for the other ritual monster. If you don't have Saphira, there are plenty of other generic ritual options you can try out with the deck. You can try Herald of Perfection, Relinquish, you name it. It all works very, very well. Just remember that ritual summoning is the main focus of the deck, so that's the main play you want to rely on for sure with these cards. And you can ritual summon this card with Hymn of Light, and during the end phase, if this card was a ritual summon, and if a light monster was sent from the field or deck in the graveyard while this card is face up on the field, you can activate one of these effects. You can draw 2 cards, then discard 1 card. You can discard 1 random card from your opponent's hand, or you can add 1 light monster from your graveyard to your hand, and you can only use 1 Saphira Queen of Dragon effect per turn, only once that turn. So going first, the discard effect can be very powerful, just limiting cards in your opponent's hand, but also just being able to re-add cards to reuse. It's one of the main reasons why I like Saphira in the deck, just as a generic, easy ritual to make, and just following all the same guidelines that Chalice Slime did as well for the deck. And I also run, lastly, for the ritual monsters, 2 Saravis, the Ancient and Ascended. You can ritual summon this card with Sprite's Blessing. During either player's turn, when your opponent activates a card or effect that targets a monster you control, you can discard this card, negate the activation. During either player's turn, when your opponent would special summon a monster, you can return this card from your field to the hand and negate the special summon. If you do, banish that monster. So you just have complete effect negation with this card as well. Works very, very well, just generic-wise, I would say, with all the other ritual monsters we run in the deck. Also, just being able to have negations and return effects, which then you can just recycle and ritual summon Saravis back to the field with all the other Incantation monsters we run in the deck. And speaking of the Incantations, I run 3 Incantation Talismandra. You can reveal 1 ritual monster in your hand to special summon both this card from your hand and 1 Incantation monster from your deck, except for Talismandra. If this card is special summoned from the deck, you can add 1 ritual monster from your deck to your hand. You can only use 1 Incantation Talismandra effect per turn, and only once that turn. You cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck, which limits you from your extra deck plays, but this is a ritual deck, so the main focus is, like I said, the ritual monsters, which you can summon out to the field, which are very strong on their own with their effects as well. So 3 Talismandra. I also run 3 Incantation Candle. With this one, it's the reveal the ritual spell, and then the special summon from the deck, and then the add the ritual spell from your deck to your hand if it's special summon through that method. So just being able to get these monsters out on the field, you can easily get the requirements for the levels on the field for the ritual monsters you need, or you can adjust them with the other incantation monsters I run in the deck, which are 2 incantation bookstones. By revealing a ritual spell with this one, you special summon both this card from your hand and the 1 incantation from the deck, except for bookstone. And if this card is special summoned from the deck, you can target 1 ritual spell in your graveyard, add to your hand. You can only use 1 bookstone effect per turn, only once that turn. What I like really a lot with bookstone is that with Saravis being able to bounce back to the hand, you'll need the ritual spell to resummon this out, so that recycle with bookstone definitely does come in handy for sure. And I also, lastly, for the incantation monsters, 2 incantation pencil plume, just another special summon by revealing a ritual monster with this one. So you're pretty well divided with the different ones you run in the deck for ritual spell or monster, which most of the time you should at least have one or the other to use with these monsters in the deck. And if this card is special summon from the deck, you can target 1 ritual monster in your graveyard and add it to your hand, and the same restrictions of only 1 of the effects per turn. But the recycle from the graveyard, just if you use other rituals for your ritual summons to be able to recycle them and reuse them, you should be able to summon out a lot of different ritual monsters using these cards, and just all the ones you can search out with the deck as well. And you mostly special summon with those cards, so I also run 3 Manju of the 10,000 hands, really your only or normal summon in the deck, being able to search out the ritual monster or the ritual spell from your deck to your hand. I'd say it's a very valid, normal summon, of course, for any ritual deck. I only run Manju, though. I don't run Senju, just for the fact that the incantations really do help with plenty of your searches as well, so didn't really find a need to run any more than just the 3 Manju for your normal summon search. And you run plenty of different light and dark monsters in the deck, so I decided to also try out 2 Chaos Dragon Levianeer. It cannot be normal summon or set. It must be special summon from your hand by banishing 3 light and or dark monsters from your graveyard. When special summoned this way, you can apply this effect based on the attributes used for it. So if you use only light, you special summon a monster from your graveyard in defense. Only dark, shuffle 1 random card in your opponent's hand into the deck. If you use both light and dark, you destroy up to 2 cards on the field. You can only use this effect of Chaos Dragon Levianeer once per turn. Like I said, just another extra, since you don't have access to the extra deck too much with all the incantations, having these monsters to rely on for more power plays along with your ritual summons is just very, very helpful for sure. And if you don't have Chaos Dragon Levianeer, you can try Chaos Sorcerer, Blackluster Soldier, Envoy at the beginning. I just preferred this card for the different effects you have with all your other monsters you run in the deck for your power plays for sure. And lastly, for the monsters, 2 Effect Veiler. If you have Ash Blossom, you can run that as well. Just player preference in this spot. With the light and dark ratios, I decided just to stick with the light lineup for Effect Veiler. Since Ash Blossom is a fire type, you could try Ghost Ogre if you wanted more dark monsters, but I like it just so I can go more consistently with the Levianeer plays or the Envoy at the beginning plays, depending on which ones you wanted to run in the deck. And that is it for the monsters. We'll now move on to the spells. I run 3 Incantation Inception. With this one, this card can be used to ritual summon any ritual monster. You must also tribute incantation monsters from your hand or field whose total levels equal or exceed the level of the ritual monster you ritual summon. And if this card is in your graveyard, you can send 1 incantation card from your hand or face up on the field to the graveyard, except for Inception, to special summon 1 incantation monster from your deck, then add the card from the graveyard to your hand. You can only use this effect of Inception once per turn. So you have, recycle power. The fact that it can ritual summon any ritual monster doesn't limit you at all either with this card for sure. So very, very helpful, and a definite 3 of in the deck for sure. And then I also run 3 Hymn of Light, just another backup ritual card for the fact that it makes Saphira, and it has a graveyard protection. This card be used to ritual summon Saphira. You must also tribute monsters from your hand or field whose total levels equal 6 or more. And if a ritual monster you control will be destroyed by battle or card effect while this card is in your graveyard, you can banish this card instead. So that's the other main reason I run 3 of this card, for the fact that it is a protection card from your graveyard as well that you can rely on. So definitely do like running Hymn of Light for that backup play as well. I also run the 1 Sprite's Blessing. It can be used to ritual summon any light ritual monster. You must also tribute monsters from your hand or field whose total levels exactly equal the level of the ritual monster you ritual summon. With the different incantations level adjustments, you can easily use Sprite's Blessing to summon out, but Savaris is your main goal with this card, but you can also use Inception to summon out Savaris as well, which is why I only run the one of the Sprite's Blessing, just to have that option, plus the fact that it is searchable with cards like pre-preparation of rites, of course. Also, with the you can't add it with the pre-prep since it adds a ritual spell from your deck and one ritual monster, so you can add the name of the ritual on that spell. So just remember that with the Sprite's Blessing. And then that will also run the 3 preparation of rites. You add 1 level 7 or lower ritual monster from your deck to your hand. Then you can add 1 ritual spell from your graveyard to your hand. So more recycle and search power with all the different ritual monsters we run in the deck. So a definite 3 of for sure. And I also run the 3 pre-preparation of rites. You add 1 ritual spell from your deck to your hand and add 1 ritual monster from your deck or graveyard to your hand whose name is listed on that ritual spell. So with this card, you add the ritual monster from whose name is listed. So like I said, with the Sprite's Blessing, the fact that it doesn't say Savaris is the one thing about that search. So most of the time, Hymn of Light is my search I go for with the pre-preparation of light, since it specifically lists Saphira on the spell card for the search. And I also run 2 Call by the Grave to finish off the main deck. If you wanted to drop your numbers of pre-prep down, you can throw in a 3rd Call by the Grave. I just like having those search options available to grab the cards you need. Because, like I said, pre-prep does help to search the spell. You may not necessarily always get the monster, but you still have that option available to you with this card. And I feel you only need 2 Call by the Grave for that protection against your opponent's hand traps. And that is it for the main deck. We'll now move on to the extra. The extra deck I really don't go into too often. I just set one up to, have, if you ever go into any of those monsters that have the option to special summon from the extra deck. Remember, with the incantations, you can't summon from the extra deck while they're on the field, so just remember that. So for the generic extra deck, 1 Akashic Magician, 1 Land Fornicus, 1 Space Insulator, 1 Hippo Shenengan, 1 Nightmare Cerberus, 1 Nightmare Phoenix, 1 Saryuja, and then I also run 1 Abyss Dweller, 1 Tornado Dragon, 1 Baguska, and 1 Exciton Knight. These are for when you have your Manjus out in the field, per se, and you don't have the incantations. Very rarely, but I do like to have those options open. And I also run 1 Photon Strike Bouncer and 1 number 11 Big Eye. If you have the rituals on the field, you just need more answers to use them with after you use their own effects. And I also run 1 Psyframe Lord Omega and 1 FA Dawn Dragstar. Just, synchro options with the effect Veiler we run in the deck and the ritual monsters you have as well. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Like I said, I was very happy with the end results of this deck. If you're a fan of ritual summoning, definitely do give it a shot, especially since it's just generic ritual summoning. It really gave me a nostalgia feel for sure. And the fact that you can mix around any other ritual monsters you may want, like I said, Herald, Perfection, Relinquish, you name it, definitely do try it out. And let me know what you think and what ritual, monsters you decide to add to your own incantation deck. But that is it for the video. Please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. And until next time, Kira Twig out.